to that because, the next question that I have here for you is it time for the 49ers to trade or cut Jimmy Garoppolo? Now, obviously, the thing that kind of plays into it is Jimmy Garoppolo's contract. He's a big chunk of the payroll right now with his contract being $26-27 million. That's a lot of players that you could add to the team if there are positions of need that the team feels like they need. And also it kind of just hands over the reins to Trey, and he's going to be able to kind of just run with it. But in your estimation, do you think it's time for the 49ers to cut or trade Jimmy? And then, because I kind of think I know your answer, do you think there will be a time this season where that is there for you?
So, yes, I don't think they should trade Jimmy yet. Now, do I think they should trade Jimmy before the start of the season? If Trey Lance wins the competition for the starting quarterback position, yes, I absolutely don't believe Jimmy Garoppolo could be a backup quarterback on this team. There's a couple reasons why. So the first reason is that $27 million contract. I mean, you cannot have the most expensive backup quarterback in NFL history, right? I mean, he's, I think, like the sixth highest paid quarterback in the league right now. There's no way you can carry that contract and have him as the backup quarterback. So that's first and foremost. Second is you do not want to risk dividing the locker room. And I think that's an even bigger point than the $27 million, because the $27 million doesn't matter anything to me or anybody, really. Probably the only person it matters to is Jed York. And who cares about Jed York, right? So the bigger thing is creating division or tension in the locker room. There's going to be a lot of people who've had Jimmy's back for a while, a lot of people that are really close to him, and you don't ever want to embarrass a veteran player like that, especially a leader who's very respected in the locker room. So I think he does need to be gone before week 1 if he does end up losing the quarterback competition.
Yeah, and what's kind of strange, in sentiment, I do agree with you, but I've only really seen one player come out and kind of have Jimmy's back. And that was just recently today when Trent Williams came out and kind of proclaimed that he doesn't really see a quarterback competition. Trey is only 21. He's a little too young to be taking the reins, and he's kind of like rolling with Jimmy. But from everybody else, I don't know if you've seen something different, but it seems like most people are kind of taken up with Trey and believing that, he's the guy that could kind of take him the rest of the way. I don't know if you're getting that same type of feeling, but a lot of people are saying, I think it's just because Jimmy's been there, but I haven't like the main suspects. It doesn't seem like, like the Kittles and all that kind of stuff. They're not really mincing their words when they're talking about Trey. They're not talking about him like he's just a good asset to have, and in the future he's going to be a star. It seems like they're talking about right now is Trey time as well.
Well, a couple days ago, Kittle, I think it was the day before yesterday, Kittle had he talked after practice, and he spoke to the media, and he danced around the question quite a bit. Like, he did not want to say, a lot of positive things about Trey Lance in that press, that after practice press conference. Even, a few days after, I think the first day of practice, Kyle Juszczyk came out, and when he spoke to the press, he was very much, backing Jimmy Garoppolo. So we've heard, I've heard that from Juszczyk, from Kittle. Now Trent Williams came out. These are the leaders and the leaders on the team that are coming out in support of Jimmy. Now, all of that's going to go out the window. Once they decide that Trey Lance is the better quarterback and he gives them the better chance to win, it's going to all go out the window. So, but I think how they treat Jimmy is going to go a long way with veterans in the locker room. Like, are they going to embarrass him and make him sit the whole season behind Trey Lance? I think that's whenever you can have some issues. Because Jimmy Ward, when he had the interview with Grant Cohn, he spoke about the Colin Kaepernick, Alex Smith quarterback controversy that went on, and he talked about how the locker room was divided. So it actually does happen in the locker room. Jimmy Ward openly admitted that there was, that tension in the locker room. So, and it was pretty embarrassing for Alex Smith having to sit. And I don't know if you remember the week that they were in the Super Bowl when they had the media day, Like they dragged him out there and made him answer questions about how great Colin Kaepernick was after all of the embarrassment he had to sit all season, knowing that he lost his position due to injury. So I just don't think that that's a good move for the 49ers. They just need to wipe their hands, thank Jimmy for all he did for the team, send him on his way, and just give him that respect because he did take us to a Super Bowl. So just treat him the right way, let him go, and move on.
Yeah, I think they're just waiting for a team to call. I think that and we're starting to see already, the Colts. The Colts lost their starting quarterback. It seems like maybe Deshaun's going to be possibly traded to the Eagles. So Houston might be in the need for a starting quarterback. Denver missed out on Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers came back. So, there might be some teams that are looking, and, training camp is still only a few weeks in. God forbid it happens, but it is an NFL and players get injured all the time. A team that is hunting for a playoffs that needs a starting caliber quarterback. You have, like you said, he's taken a team to the Super Bowl. He's won championships with New England. The one thing about Jimmy, he wins everywhere he goes. He has a very high winning percentage compared to other players. So he is somebody that's attractive, and I think that everything that you're seeing is more to hype up his value than actual people believing that he is going to be the starter. At least that's my opinion, and that's super biased because although I'm not a Jimmy hater, I do believe that it's kind of the same thing. Like Alex Smith was a great quarterback. Kaepernick was able to elevate the team in ways because he was able to do things that Alex Smith was not able to do. The same way I feel about Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. Jimmy Garoppolo was a great quarterback, and even ignore all of the injury issues, there's just things that Trey Lance can do that'll open up Kyle Shanahan's playbook, that'll make us see a different type of offense that I think will elevate the team in ways that, Jimmy Garoppolo is just not capable of. So to me, that's the type of team I want to see. Go ahead.
Yeah, I will tell you, I am so ready as a 49er fan to actually see a quarterback that can go out there and make these wow throws, make these wow plays. Because even as good as, Jimmy Garoppolo has had from a winning percentage standpoint, he doesn't make the wow throws and the wow plays. I think the first 5 games that we ever saw him as a 49er is about as close as you're ever going to get to Jimmy Garoppolo just making wow plays. Colin Kaepernick, he did the first couple starts, when he first started playing, like that Bears game when he went off, that was wow, crazy moment. But aside from the Packers NFC Championship game where he broke the rushing record in the postseason, it wasn't really throwing the ball, it was running the ball, So it's been a long time since I've seen, wow, quarterback play from the San Francisco 49ers quarterback. So that's super exciting. I hope that Trey Lance brings that added dimension. We actually see a vertical passing game, down the field. That I'm licking, my chops to see that, Sunil, because I've never seen that as a 49er fan.
And this is the best wide receiver core I believe we've had in quite some time. I think Brandon Ayuk is a bona fide one that could be, a top 5, top 10 receiver in the league. Yeah. And
you know what? I'll even tell you, I think we might have 3 number 1, receiving threats on the team. I think Ayuk is a bona fide number 1. Debo is a legitimate number 1 receiver, I think. And then you have George Kittle, who is basically a number 1 receiver. I think we have 3 legitimate number 1 targets on this team that it's exciting when you start to think about it.
They're being underutilized because, Kyle Shanahan has to kind of babysit, Jimmy Garoppolo and close up part of that playbook. Because if you look at Atlanta's offense, even though they didn't throw the ball maybe that many more times than the 49ers throw the ball, where they were throwing the ball was much different than where the balls are being thrown right now. So I think that's pretty exciting. Obviously we have to just wait and see. It's really hard to make a decision like this without the preseason finally starting, to actually see how they play against, in games and things of that nature. But I think that I'm with you, man. I think that we both kind of agree. If somebody calls and gives anything third round and above for Jimmy Garoppolo, I think they'd make that regardless of where Trey Lance is, because that's the most I think you could get for Jimmy Garoppolo. If you could get a first for Jimmy some way, somehow, I think they do that even if they haven't like deemed Trey the starter quite yet, because at the end of the
I don't
day,
think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it may not happen, but what I'm saying is you already gave up 3 first-round picks to get Trey. You already know he's your future. You know, it's just about when that future starts. Is it going to start week 1? Is it going to start week 8? Is it going to start next season? But you already know Jimmy Garoppolo isn't the future. So if you could get any high assets out of him, I think you trade him right away.